You gents ready back there?
Yes, sir.
That'll be good.
Good as I'll ever be.
It's a good one.
All right. Here we go. G.
Gene, your assessment of Tayon Holloway week 1 to week 2, he looked a little more physical against App, just from the naked eye. What did the expert eye see from him?
Yeah, I was really proud of the progress that he made. When you're a young guy, sometimes when you have a game and you struggle a little bit early on in your career, you can let that affect you twice. And I don't think he let that happen. I thought not only did he show up in the run game on some things, but he also showed up in the pass game. I thought his coverage was tighter. I thought that he did not get rattled at all in his second game. And that's what we talked to him about. Him and I literally talked during the week about being able to shake off anything that, happened in the first game that, was, a mistake or, challenged him mentally. And so he had to move on and move forward. And as a young guy, you worry about that, but I was very proud of the way he responded. And even just seeing him after the game and talk to him after the game, I feel like he gained confidence because he played better. So that was a good thing, seeing him progress in game 2.
How much has Stick Lane been able to practice? I know you missed so much time in August, and you guys were going to work him in some at the start. Is it part of the mission to maybe get him on the field so we can play some stars so Elijah could go back to corner some as well?
It's definitely part of the plan to get him on the field. The thing that really has hindered Stick's progress is what you just said, right? Missing so much time in fall camp, so many valuable reps. I mean, literally hundreds of reps. And we literally had that conversation with him yesterday that we want to bring you along. We want you to be a part of this, but missing hundreds of reps in the time that he was out, it hurts. So, but he's making progress. I feel like this week is a week where we'll be able to get him some more reps in practice, and then carry that over to the game. So that's our plan. Where we play him right now could be at a star, could be at a safety. It just depends on where he feels most comfortable and in terms of the game plan. But we know he's a really good player, and he's got to give us some valuable reps. So this is a good week to make that happen.
With the game week preparation process laid out as it is, how hard is it, how challenging is it to get him the necessary rep numbers in practice during game week as opposed to August to kind of catch him up to what he's missed?
Yeah, I think it's accumulation of reps that matter now. So once you start game week, game 1, you get not as many, obviously, practice reps as you would get during fall camp. And then you got to take game 1 and how many reps you get that week. And then game 2, which we just had, how many reps you got that week. Now it'll be game 3. So now the reps, I think, are just building up from week 1, 2, and 3, and they're accumulating. And I think that's helping him, especially when he sees the game plans unfold, what we did good, what we didn't do good, and he can see that. And I feel like he's very conscientious and understands everything. It's just a matter of him actually going out there and getting more reps doing it, which we're getting closer for him to feel that comfort level and be able to give us some reps. So I think that this would be a good week for that to happen.
Gene, how involved has Dre Boykins been, like in practice or in scouting since his surgery? Is he been a guy that's always, getting in his teammates' ears about, do this. Has he been super involved?
So Dre is obviously he's it's challenging right now because he's just came out of surgery a little while ago, so it's hard for him to get around. But he's around as much as he can be. The guys love him. He loves the guys. So we keep him as involved as we can right now. He's not very mobile. So I think, the more mobile he gets and the more the rehabs kicks in and the better he feels moving around and getting around, he'll be around here more. But right now it's a little bit difficult just because of the timing of when he had the surgery.
With Elijah's performance last weekend, particularly in the double overtime, how impressed, was this nothing new to you? I mean, you see it every day in practice. Was it just, same old Elijah making the big time plays to win the game?
Yeah, I think he's a very good football player. I've said that since the beginning. And, in the overtime, the play before the fourth down stop, people probably won't pay a lot of attention to it, but he did a great job of fighting through a lot of traffic and making a really, really hard tackle to get it to fourth down. Because a lot of people, it was open field, it was him and the guy, him and the receiver or nobody. And he was able to bring that down. So that was a huge play that a lot of people won't give, they'll think more of the fourth down than they did the third down. But we think of the third down as well, because it wouldn't have been a fourth down had he missed that tackle. But there was other really impressive production that he had as well. And, you know, Elijah's given us the flexibility to play some star and some corner. And so he's been productive no matter where we've put him. And he's really, really close to getting a couple interceptions here and there. I think that's kind of the next progression for him, hopefully. But he's just a very talented football player. He's really good against the run. Obviously, he's a good pass defender as well. And he'll get better as time goes, as he gets more comfortable with being able to flip and play both positions, both star and corner. But very proud of him and his performance and just his production. He's a productive guy.
Gene, I'm not sure if you heard about the sacks from week 1 to week 2.
What happened in week 2?
Week 2 was 0.
You didn't get any?
Well, I mean, I know, I'm joking because you hit him a lot. You know, I mean, I know you got back there and got in his face and pressured him and got a lot of hits on him. I think it was 9 maybe hurries they had you for. Why do you think that you guys, what kept you from getting home and getting into the ground? And was that in any way, I don't know, a step back? I know that what happened week 1 is, you know,
An anomaly.
right. One of my buddies said if they could just get 8 or 9 sacks every week, they should be great. So if you want
that'd be good.
to tell your staff that. But and was that a step back because you weren't able to get any sacks?
No, I don't think it was a step back. I think there was a lot of teaching moments. A couple of things. Number one, they did a really, really good job. If you go back and look how quick they got the ball out, why wouldn't they, right? They needed to get the ball out fast, which they did a good job of that. So many times when that ball's out literally under 2 seconds, you're not gonna have those opportunities. That's number one. Number two, we definitely needed to tighten up, and we'll work on tightening up some coverage elements that everything works together, right? Like the secondary has to, and the linebackers have to give opportunities for sacks to happen because the coverage is making them hold the ball a split second longer. And then conversely, the defensive line has to do the job of rushing the quarterback, making them hurry and make errant throws because of the pressure. So they all work together. So a lot of times our coverage wasn't as tight as we would like it. So we'll work on that this week, tightening up some coverages. But we were just a hair off. I think, yes, we had 9 or 10 hurries. I think we had 5 or 6 quarterback hits as he was throwing it. And so the pressure was there. We were getting there. It just, on paper doesn't look as sexy as it was when we had 9 sacks. So a lot of things we can do better on both the rush and the coverage element, but we have to work, both of those have to work together in conjunction with each other. And we need to get back on track because that's a huge piece of what we feel like production-wise we need to do, is be able to get those quarterback hits and sacks and pressures. So hopefully we can tighten some of those things up this week.
Just to follow up on that, Matt, when he was in here earlier, if I heard him right, he was talking about maybe wanting to or working toward disguising more things when you're at the line of scrimmage. I don't know, maybe giving one look and then change it to another. Like, is that part of the discussion in terms of just trying to maybe give different pictures to these quarterbacks?
Yeah, I think that's always part of the discussion, right? The more you can disguise and the more you can make the quarterback, and that's truly part of getting sacks as well, right? When the quarterback sees one thing in the post snap, it's something different. Right. So the disguise element always plays a part in that as well. So, all of those things together, right? Tighter coverage, maybe disguise some things a little bit more. And then, there's some things we can clean up on the rushes themselves to, hopefully get some more pressures and sacks.
A lot of the pressure generated up front the other night was from Dez. Is that maybe the best he's played, especially combining physicality and the pass rush, kind of doing a lot of everything in the same game?
Yeah, really proud of Dez as far as where he's progressed as a football player. We saw it in camp, and then he got beat up a little bit in camp, and then ended up getting, taking, I don't know, 6 or 7 days where he had to kind of heal up. Might even been more than that, But we saw it happening early in camp, and he got banged up. Now he's starting to get back into that same form, where I really think he's in the process of putting his game and taking his game to the next level, which it's time that he does that. But the pass rush piece for him is starting to come into play. He's starting to understand exactly what he needs to do to be a better pass rusher. He plays really hard, relentless. He chases the football. And we have enough depth at that position right now to play other people to keep him fresh. So that matters as well. Last year we didn't really necessarily feel like we had that depth. So in a game like this where, sometimes those guys would have to play 70 plays, he's able to get away with playing 40 or 45 plays or less because we have some depth. So all of those things are kind of tying in for him. But we fully expect him to continue to grow as a pass rusher. I mean, obviously as a run defender as well. But Saturday night, he was very disruptive, and he had probably one of his best games since I've been here.
What can you specifically point to in his pass rushing has taken a huge step forward? Not just that he shows he can do it, but he's consistently doing it.
I feel like he has a completely different understanding of his best attributes as a pass rusher. I think he totally understands more so than he did last year on what he's best at. Pass rushers don't have 6 things they're great at. They get good at 1 or 2 things, and then they usually have a counter off of that. I think he's starting to feel he understands what his best rushes are individually, and he's using them. And, different than last year, I think we can say, Des, what move, what are we working here? And he can definitively say, this is my power edge rush, or this is, he can define it and he understands it. So I think it's an understanding of it. I think it's an understanding of what he is starting to get good at. And those reps are building up in practice where he's not trying to work 5 different moves. He's good at these few things. That's where we hang our hat.
If I can get a little more clarity on that. So when a guy starts consistently using his 1 or 2 moves that are his best moves, before they get to that point, they take themselves out of a lot of plays because they're trying to apply something maybe that they aren't as good at. Is that what you're saying as well?
Yeah, I think just generally speaking as a pass rusher, even if you look at the great ones in the NFL, there's going to be 2 or 3 things that they're really, really good at, and that's what they're known for. And so that's what they do. And I think when you're a younger player or you're trying to figure out the position, because you got to remember, before I got here, Des was a guy that dropped some in coverage. He did a lot of different things. So last year was the first year he actually put his hand in the dirt and rushed the passer. So I think there was a lot of learning there was a learning curve there that had to take place. I think it did. Then he got hurt after game 8, and he was out the rest of the year. I think in the off season, even though he didn't go through spring practice, he learned, we studied, we did it in the summer, we talked through it in the summer, and then he applied it in fall camp. So I saw it in fall camp. I saw this progression in fall camp. So now again, being hurt for some of fall camp, we lost out on those reps. I feel like now he's starting to get the reps back, and he's starting to get back into the groove and the swing of things. And that's what it looked like Saturday night, because he was getting pressure. He was playing better in the run game. It was like I said, it was one of his most productive games since I've been here.
Gene, was Saturday night effectively DJ Jones's audition at star, and it looked like he went away from him as the game went on, and I got Huzzy over there, obviously the Tayon too, getting in, but I don't know, did he not fare as well as he needed to remain your first guy at that spot?
Well, we're always going to look at who are the best guys we can put on the field at all times, right? So DJ started the game, and again, it's a learning curve for him, right? So we started rotating different people because again, as the game rocked on, we realized this is going to be a game that could end up being a lot of plays. So then we started transitioning. We had to get Tayon back into the game, and we had to get Huzzy back over. So we just started a rotation. And from there, what we'll do is we'll look at what do we feel like Saturday gives us the best chance as far as whatever the starting unit is. And we don't know what that is right now. What we're doing is we're building enough flexibility and depth where we can play more than one star. We can play more than three corners. We can hopefully now, with Stick, as we talked about earlier, and Will Hardy being back, we can start to play more safety. So we'll see every week what we think the best combination is, but it just we felt like during the game we needed to rotate at that position.
And what did you feel like?
This will be last.
Did you feel like he had earned the start, meaning DJ?
Yes, for sure. We felt like he earned the start. We wanted to see what he could do in game time situations at that position. All we saw was practice, and he'll grow at the position. He'll get better. He knows what he did well, and he knows what he didn't do well, and he needs to improve on. But in the end, he's our kind of guy, and we love what he brings to the table. But that position comes with a learning curve as well, right? It's a tough position to play. And he did some nice things. He did some things really well. And he did some things that we got to clean up. But we'll see, as the week rocks on, exactly what that combination will be and who will be at star and who will be at corner.
All right. Thanks, Gene.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Coach.
Appreciate you.
All right,
Y'all have a great day.
Yeah.